Welcome to episode 19 of the Pursuit of Precision podcast. Today we were so fortunate to sit down with Vince Vitale, the general manager of now 27 years at Vince & Joe's Gourmet Food Market here in Michigan. They've done an amazing job servicing their community and have continued to grow such a successful business. Vince gave us all kinds of insights into where they started out with the business when he was first brought in at a young age and where they've been able to scale it to today. It was an amazing story. I hope you guys take as much from this as I do. Let's head to it. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Pursuit of Precision podcast. My name is Ryan Jaros, and over the next 12 months, I'm interviewing 50 of the most successful, intelligent, influential, and overall happy people that I can in order to hear their story and share with all of you what I learned along the way. Today, so grateful to have Vince here with us today, Vince Vitale.
Yes.
He is the general manager and partial owner at this point with Vince & Joe's, the Gourmet Market here in Michigan. So for those of you that don't know and aren't familiar, beautiful Gourmet Market. They have two locations, one in Sterling Heights, Michigan, another in Shelby Township, Michigan. Beautiful facilities. They're now celebrating their 40th year in business, so I want to congratulate you on that.
Yeah, thank you.
For anybody that knows anything about business, being in business for 40 years is nothing to snuff at. So
yes.
I want to give you props for that. Absolutely.
Thank you.
That's amazing. And then on top of that, you've been general manager for 27 years.
Yeah.
Is that correct? So that is unbelievable. Yeah. Again, the consistency and willingness to always improve is super admirable. I want to give you credit for that as well. So
Thank
amazing stuff. As we were mentioning before we jumped on, I love to hear a little bit about what the business looks like today.
Sure.
Right. All the glitz and glamour and things of that nature that didn't exist way back in the day when you were starting. And
yes.
This is where you're at today. So if you wouldn't mind laying the landscape and telling viewers what your business looks like today.
Sure. Just to clarify, it's in Clinton Township in Shelby Township, Michigan.
Did I say Sterling Heights?
Yes, it's okay. No problem. But we started in 1983 with my father, Joe Vitale, my mother, Maria Vitale, my aunt, Mima Vitale, and my uncle, Vince Vitale. They were the heart and soul of bringing it together. Just a small little store right on Garfield Road. I want to say they had between 10 and 15 employees at the time, family, friends, whoever could help and was willing to help at that age. All of us, nieces and nephews, were really young at that time, but whoever wanted to get in there and help, it was an amazing thing. Obviously, I was just born that year, so I wasn't in that stage.
You weren't in the business yet, huh?
Yes, but it's amazing. Fast forward 40 years, and now we have over 400 employees. One store, our Shelby Township store, is over 80,000 square feet. Our flagship store in Clinton Township, where it all started, is about 50,000 square feet. It's just amazing, the volume of great customers coming every week, well over 25,000. So it's a very high volume.
That's
yeah,
unbelievable.
It's great. And we love it because we get a lot of customers in there. They become family, a lot of them. They know us by names.
I have to imagine
It's a great thing. And, when you get that much volume, product's always fresh. And that's the main thing with us. Service, fresh, all at an affordable price. That's what we want for our community,
That's amazing. Yeah. Tell me, if you don't mind, what does that infrastructure look like? You said you have 400 employees, so I'm sure there's tiers involved in all of that. And I'm curious, what at this point in your career, how are you involved? What people are you managing? How much are you dealing with being there at the actual facilities?
Yes.
I'd love to hear a little bit about what your infrastructure looks like right now.
Well, just to give an example, like my Clinton Township store, I'm the main manager, along with my nephew. He's actually my brother's son. He's just getting into it. We're kind of working together. We're obviously the highest tier. We're kind of overseeing the department managers. In between both stores, we're talking about 13,000 different items. So there's, I would say, anywhere between 15 and 30 managers, between different departments. They're all checking inventories every day, freshness, and we're always there to assist them. Hey, well, let's order this. Let's get a special buy, So we kind of all work together and make sure everything's kind of flowing smoothly and we're never missing any product. That's the most important thing to us.
Yeah.
Having that quality and having the product.
For sure. I'm curious now, because there's two pieces that I'm seeing just from hearing you explain this.
Sure.
You've got the piece of in the facility.
Yes.
What's the product look like? What's the experience like for the customer?
Yes.
But then you've also got the business part,
Correct.
right? Where you've got to manage how much are we charging for stuff and what's our cash flow look like per month, and all that stuff. So how do you manage the two of those hats, I guess you could say, at this point?
Well, to us, it's always about, obviously, the biggest thing is controlling payroll nowadays, making sure, you're letting your employees work hard where they can obviously support their family. That's very important. And we're very diligent. I mean, when I tell you we're on the phone every day, seeing what things are costing, looking at our competitors, what they're retailing, how can we beat them? How can we find that extra deal, but always never sacrifice quality.
Yeah.
That's the most important for us.
Yeah.
So there's so many little things that go into it, but having such amazing employees around us, it makes it go a lot smoother.
Oh, for sure. For sure. So tell me a little bit in your day then.
Yeah.
So what does your day look like? How much are you sitting at the desk, crunching numbers, doing all that stuff, the boring stuff?
Yeah.
And how often are you actually out interacting with customers, talking with people? What does your day look like?
It's a funny thing you say that. Like, I remember right when I got out of high school, my Uncle Vince and my dad said, every day when you get in here, start right at the front entrance, grab a shopping cart like a customer, view it from their side. So I'll literally, when I get in there, anywhere from, 6:30 to 8 in the morning, I'll grab a shopping cart and I'll just start walking around. And if I see a display that's not up to my standard, or I know we could do better, I'll make notes and write it down, call a manager. I love seeing the view of the customer,
Yeah. That's a genius way to think about it.
I always tell my managers, hey, you're always on the back side of the counter. Come out on the front, look at all of it like a customer, and it's amazing what you'll see. And they love it when I say that, because they'll come around, they'll be like, I didn't notice a couple things we could fix.
You get your own answers at that point. It's almost like, okay, if I was the person standing here, it's so easy because the customer always has some, you could have done this or you could have done that, right?
Yeah.
It's very easy from that perspective, but I've never thought about it to look at it as the owner.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
And I'll walk the whole store like that. And, I'll have notes written down, what we're going to fix. I'll spend a couple hours like that, and then I'll head in the office, say hi to the secretaries in there and start looking at some invoices, see where we're paying, I'll talk to vendors all around the country, anywhere from seafood vendors in Boston to people in Chicago. Hey, what's going on in this market? How's the meat? How's poultry right now? Eggs. It's amazing how many moving parts there are in every department. So it's a great thing. I love it. And then
you're definitely active. So you're walking the store, checking out everything, making sure everything looks good. Then you pop up in the office, you start doing some more administrative style work, I would assume.
Yeah, and I'll try to spend a couple hours there. Then hey, it's lunchtime. The crowds start coming in for lunch, and I'll kind of focus on our pizza area, our bakery, and what snacks are out there. Make sure that kind of looks good, and and I'll walk with my nephew Giuseppe, and and I'm training him, and he's got a good eye too. Hey, let's fix this, or hey, I love that idea, So it all comes together, and before you know it, you're in the late afternoon.
Yeah. So then you go back. I would assume you're back up in the office for a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, checking stuff out. What do we need to order for tomorrow? And we have a full scale bakery at both of our stores. In our Shelby Township store, we bake bread all night. So we're starting to look at what we have left over for the day. What can be used again, what can be donated. So it's all a process, like a 24-hour process.
Yeah, that's incredible. Yeah. That really is. So what time do you usually shut down and get back? You explained that you have a family as well.
Yeah, I try to get out of there, between 5:30 and 6. I really think it's important to have dinner with your family, sit down, talk to the kids, how their day was with school, and your wife, So I try to do that, but some days can go later, all depending on, the business, the time of the year. Like this next month is going to be a really long days. I'm going to get up when it's dark and get home when it's late and dark.
I hear that. And I have to imagine you don't have a tough time. I think I know what your real duty is. In the morning, you're walking through the store, you're picking out what the best thing is for dinner for the family.
Oh, that too. I know.
Before anybody else can.
I'll try to be on a diet, but you walk by the bakery in the morning, they'll be like, hey, check out these new blueberry muffins we made. Well, okay, let me give it a try.
That's amazing. Do you do that though? Do you actually hand select what you're going to do for dinner for your family?
Yeah, I try to help my wife, but she likes to pick her own, kind of surprise me, But there's some days, she'll always call me, hey, can you bring home this? I need this. And I'm always like, yeah, no problem.
Oh, that's cool. That's amazing. Well, I all those parts that you have juggling there, it's unbelievable that you're still that involved in everything that's going on. It speaks to why your facilities look the way that they do.
Sure.
For those that have not seen them, they're beautiful. They're clean as can be, and the food is fresh as can be as well. So
Thank you.
I want to give you credit for that as well. But let's go back now.
Sure.
Let's go back to when you were initially getting into the business, and let's even go before that. Before you did, was there ever a point where you didn't know if you were going to be a part of the business or not?
No, I always had it in my heart that I wanted to do it. Yeah. And my father was, I love him so much. He was always like, hey, if you want to go to college, if you want to pursue something else, I want you to be happy, And I always told him, I want to go to college because I always think it's great to have an education. Yeah. Nobody can ever take anything away from that. Especially, hey, are you using this stuff? And I always think anything you learn, you're going to use it, or you're going to apply it once in your life or something, 100%. So I always wanted to do that, and I was happy. I went to Macomb College for a couple of years, and then I went to Walsh College where I got my accounting degree. So it's so much easier for me to look at numbers and understand.
That's what I was going to say.
That was big, and I love using that. I'm great with numbers. So I always knew, though, I wanted to be in the store,
Tell me what those early conversations were like. So you were in high school. Let's just go back to at that point. What were the considerations at that point? Were you working with them?
Yeah, I was already...
at like 8 or 7 or 8?
There it was more like, hey, come in on a Saturday, help get shopping carts, because we were a small business still. And it was like, it's hard to get the right employees. My parents immigrated here from Sicily, so it's always about family. Have family. Family's the best. They're always going to be there to support you. So it was funny. Even before my time, my grandfather, when my older brothers and cousins, they were 7 or 8, and my grandpa would come by after school. They're playing baseball, and they'd be like, "Hey, Tom, Gasper, Joe, let's go. We got to go get buggies in the parking lot. We got to wrap salad."
Oh my goodness! So, like I said,
and they always helped. They would kind of bicker at first, but they loved going there then, because it was helping their family.
They're a part of something.
Exactly.
I think that's a huge thing that for anybody at home that's struggling. Being a part of something is a great feeling for everybody involved, and you're going to be able to do much more as a community as a whole than you will ever by yourself. So, that's amazing. So I'd love to hear. So as you're transitioning, so you're in school. Are you working at the stores at that point too?
The Shelby Township store wasn't open at that time, so I was working at Clinton Township.
Yep.
I was probably there a good 25 to 30 hours a week.
While you were in school.
Yeah, but my dad and my mom always said, "Hey, do your homework. When you're done, go ahead, go there for a couple hours." And when I'd go there, I'd literally always keep an open mind. I just okay, how do they do this? I just wanted to learn. What happens in this circumstance? What happens in this circumstance?
Yeah.
And I had my brother Gasper, older brother. He was there a lot, so he'd teach me. And I had my cousin Salvo, which is the general manager at a Shelby store.
Okay.
He was great. Always, hey Vince, learn this. I'm going to have you work in this department for a couple of weeks, just so you could see what happens every day.
Yeah.
And that's the best way in that business. You got to be in each department.
You have to understand it as a whole, not just your one individual piece to it.
Yeah, it's not, hey, just sit in the office, look at this paper and numbers. You got to be in the trenches,
Yeah, no, that makes total sense. I do have a question in regards to school, because I think this is very, very important for young people that are watching.
Absolutely.
How much were you considering or thinking about what your degree or what you were learning was going to apply to what you eventually wanted to do? Because I think so many people go into school just thinking, I'm just going to get a degree, and that degree is going to carry me into whatever my income is or whatever job title I end up having in the future. Sure. When in your situation, you had a great opportunity to know what you wanted to do and say, I can go into this intentionally thinking I could take this, I could take this, I could take these specific classes or specific things that you want to learn and apply it to what you want to do. How valuable do you see that?
I think it was extremely valuable. And especially, the business classes I'd take, the finance class, it's amazing. I use it every day, and I knew, just from working a little bit in the office, because when I was younger, I wasn't in there all the time, but I'd seen my cousin and my brother and how important it is to know numbers, and that's something I was like, I got to, understand this. I know I'm going to be able to apply it to the store. And looking back 20 years now, I see it every day. I'm doing it. It's just so important. I don't know, knowledge to me and understanding and grasping things is the best thing in the world. It's crucial.
Yeah. And that's the unfortunate part, though, is so many people have this maybe knowledge. They may have knowledge, or they may not. They might just go to college. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people that just go to college and don't really take much from it.
Sure.
But a step further is, to your point, taking things that are specifically going to apply to what they want to do.
Sure.
Right. So I think it's very important for people watching to consider being a little more
Absolutely.
specific about what they're trying to learn in this.
And that's the most important thing at the beginning, because you're going to get experience working there. You're going to learn how to deal with these people and how to deal with this customer, but going to college, you really learned how to communicate. I would say that's the best thing. Some of the best classes I had in there, at first I hated public speaking, which a lot of people do.
Yeah.
But I had to take quite a few classes at Walsh College, because in the business world, you're going to be speaking to people. And I was always, intimidated at first. But now looking back, when I have customers in the store that have questions or inquiries, or have an issue with I know how to handle them. I'm very polite, and I'm always understanding. Let me hear it from your side. I never shut I don't just ignore them and say, oh, that item can't be bad.
Yeah.
I'm always like, okay, I understand, things happen, you're dealing with natural produce, natural food. It's all made in nature. So things can go bad,
Yeah.
So, that's something I always keep an open mind,
For sure. So I want to hear about that transition then. So you were, when did you graduate? How old were you?
I graduated in 2005. I was, how old was I? 22? I believe it was 22. Yeah.
So at 22 years old, you're leaping in. At what capacity were you thrown into the mix at that point?
Well, it's amazing. So I said, in Shelby opened in 2006. So I literally had a year to almost run this bit, and working with my cousin Salvo and Gasper.
Yeah.
I had a year to really learn it, but I knew you can't learn everything in 1 year, and I'm still learning today. That's the amazing part. So, the first year was a lot of, okay, you got to learn this, you got to learn that, and before I knew it, 1 year went by, we're opening the other store. And at that transition, a lot of employees, I would say a good 35 to 40% we sent to our other store, because we wanted good people there. That's one thing. When we opened that store, we wanted from day one customers to come in and be like, oh my God, this is just like there. This tastes the same. Look at this quality,
100%.
So
that
when
makes total sense.
my cousin Salvo had to go there, it's kind of that first day. I'm like, oh my God, I'm up to the plate now, and the rest is history. I just kept learning every day. And he always taught me good things. Him and my dad, don't think you know everything. Learn every day. That's how you get better. Learn, open your eyes. And that helped a lot.
Yeah, I'm curious, what are some of that stand out to you? Maybe I'm sure there's a couple memories where you messed something up pretty bad in those early days. Maybe in that first year, let's look at that piece. Are there any things that stand out to you that you learned, or some challenges that you went through during that time?
I would say getting inventory correct, how much product you need. Because like I said, at our store, I hate to be out of stuff. You don't have it, you're not selling it, and that was something at first, because we opened, I want to say it was the end of October. So we're coming into the busiest season. And I remember the first time, hey, I got to order turkeys, fresh turkeys for the store. And I looked at numbers and, okay, I think I need this much. And obviously we sold more that year, probably because we had a good publicity from the new store. So new customers came in, and I ran out about 3-4 days early. And I'm like, I'm scrambling. But that was something I was like, okay, don't panic. We don't have them, but let's try to get more. How do I, and I'd start calling different farms and vendors, and I was able to, take care of the customers.
Yeah. That's a really, I want to ask you something about this. So there's a lot of people that are getting started in their careers, and they're being thrown into the fire.
Yes.
Whether it's in your business, different industry, doesn't necessarily matter.
Sure.
What are some things that maybe go through your mind, or what was a helpful tool that you used to stay positive in that moment, not get down on yourself? Did you lean on other people? What did you do to get through those tough times?
Yes. And I would always call my cousin Salvo or my brother Gasper, being that they've been in the business. I'd call my father, my uncle, my Aunt Mima, she's very involved in the business. She's excellent. I tried calling and saying, hey, what would you do? What would you recommend? And they'd be like I said, hey, call this farmer. There's other farmers that'll have it. Let's, you might have to send somebody to go pick it up. There's, labor and cost, but make sure we have it for the customer,
Yeah.
And that's something I started to learn. Instead of, panicking and saying, hey, we're out, no big deal. No, I want to take care of the customer. How do I get more of this? You know?
I think it starts with the humility for you to say, I don't know everything.
Yeah.
I'm willing to hear all the opinions.
Yes. That is huge. And I'm teaching my nephew that right now. Don't think you know everything. Just every day you're going to learn. You're going to make mistakes. We all make mistakes. We're humans. So I tell them, just try to learn from it. And next time you won't have that happen,
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about family and how, you just mentioned all your family is who you rely on.
Oh, yeah.
if there's people at home that are struggling to maybe appreciate what they have in their family, what would be some things that you would tell them that maybe is meaningful to you?
Well, they're everything. Family to me is everything. And every day when you have family around, there's going to be those days like, hey, you're wrong. I don't want to talk to you right now, and words will get exchanged, but you come home at the end of the night and you'll have dinner with them, and, we'll be at a Christmas holiday, and just that feeling of like all being together, and, it makes it all worth it. And that's the most important thing when I have that. And like I said, there's those days where you're going to have conflicts. Everybody does, but it's amazing how we always stick together as a family, and that's how we've been able to grow,
Yeah, I think it's helpful to understand that is normal, though.
Yeah.
I think young people
Absolutely.
maybe don't understand that you could love someone to death and still have an argument.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Just because you have an argument does not mean that love doesn't matter and it doesn't exist. So
no, it's the most important thing. And what I always say is, if something's happening, I'll step away for a minute, just kind of calm down, don't overreact. Just, always think with your mind. Don't think with your butt, just, it's always important to keep calm, because family's the most important thing. If you don't have that, what do you have,
100%. We talked before we jumped on camera.
Yeah.
You had $1 zillion. Who are you going to spend it with?
Exactly.
Right? Are you going to sit on a beach by yourself, or are you going to enjoy it with
people
others?
You love? Exactly. That's what it's all about. I love how we'll all be working together, and then that night, like Christmas dinner, we're all together, and it makes it feel good.
Yeah. No, so I want to dive into the family stuff a little bit more, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
So I've always wondered, just because I haven't had the opportunity to interview somebody that has been a part of a family business in the way that you have.
Yes.
Right? Where you've got something that you obviously admired and looked up to at the time when you started, and now you're in a position where you're like, I have to carry the torch.
Oh, yeah.
What were those emotions like? What did that feel like? And what were your thoughts going through at that point in your life when you were just graduating college? What were your thoughts at that time?
Well, I remember when I graduated, we had the one store. We had, I want to say, about 100 employees. We were growing. My brother Gasper, my Aunt Mima, my parents, my Uncle Vince, they were all doing such a great job building it. But I knew when I came in, we started talking about another store and, how we can grow. And some people would be like, no, I don't want to take that risk. I do not want to do that, and I've always said, it's good. We like to grow at the right pace. We're not, hey, let's open 2 more. Let's open 3 more stores.
Yeah.
In 40 years, we have 2 stores. So we always want to make it like the right choice. I don't want to say calculated risk, but it's the right choice where we're all feeling like, hey, we're going to all be there together. We're all going to help each other. We're going to make this happen. And
you're not going to sacrifice anything by doing it.
Exactly.
Because you guys care so much about the brand and what you deliver to your customers.
Exactly.
And if you can't do that with a 3rd or 4th or 5th location, what's the point? What's the point?
No, and that's not us, And I remember those first 2-3 weeks that we opened that store, I had, Salvo, Gasper, me, my aunt, my parent, everybody was working 12 plus hours a day, because we had our heart in it, and we wanted everything perfect, and it was, and the employees love that. It's not like, oh, they're just at home sitting down. They love that. They embrace it, and they work even harder, and they care,
No, does that, during that time, does having that community matter a ton in terms of how far you're willing to push yourself because you're doing it for the other people around you? Because I think that's one thing that if you are maybe singled out and you don't have community, you don't have family, you don't have that around you, it's very hard to push yourself to the level that what you're describing, because no one else is counting on you to do it, or maybe you're just not aware that that's the case. But do you get where I'm going with this? Where because your family is showing up and working 12 hours next to you, what are you going to go home after 8?
No,
it's not going to happen.
We didn't do that.
Do you think that's a huge component to why you were able to work as hard as you did and make it work?
Oh yeah. I think we all work and feed off of each other,
Yeah.
And there'll be times where, hey, I might be kind of slowing down or catching up on something, and I might see my brother or my cousin, or one of the employees, and I'll jump in and help them, and it doesn't matter what it is. Like, and my employees will love that. It's like, wow, that guy's, cleaning up this broken bottle that broke, or like, we're not afraid to work. The family works. We're all going to work for them,
Yeah. That's amazing. The accountability built in when you're working with family in that regard is got to be amazing.
It is.
A lot of people say things about working with family and all that, but if you're working for a cause that you guys all care about together as one,
exactly,
it's not going to be a problem. And if anything, it benefits you guys.
Yeah. And like I said, not every day is, rosy, perfect. We're humans. We're going to have conflicts, especially when, sometimes it's family or emotional, so it happens. But what's amazing is after 40 years, we're all still there. We all love working with each other, and I can't count my blessings on that, because it's incredible, and I would say between me, my family, cousins, I mean, there's a good 30 of us there,
Yeah. What would you say? So I want to go back a little bit to in that period where you're deciding and making that decision, you want to carry things on. There are thousands, I'm sure, of people that are in the position that you were in at that point in your life, where you're making that decision. Is this the right path for me?
Yes.
Do I want to carry on what my parents and my family are doing, or do I want to go and pursue my own path?
Yes.
What are some questions that you would advise that person to ask themselves to find out if that is the right thing for them?
Well, I would say one of the first things, and I had it in me, I could already tell, was that passion. Because I think that's going to drive you to do something. If you just want to do something for, I might make $250,000 the first year.
Yeah.
That's not, it's only going to get you so far, because it's just a number. You have to have that passion. And I loved going in there every day and, making displays and changing things. I knew it was there. I'm like, okay, I have the passion. I want to do this, and that was really important. The second store was a lot of thinking, all of us family members, because at that time it was a large commitment in terms of finances and, kind of expanding to that big of a store. And we built the whole shopping center as well. So there was a lot of thoughts, and a lot of second guessing, who knows if this is going to work out. But, after speaking to all of us, when we talk, we're all like, we have the passion, we have the love. We're going to make this work, and we're going to do everything we can to make it work.
Yeah.
And that's an important thing. Somebody trying to start their own business, have that passion, have the patience, the money will come. But if you give it your love, your full attention, obviously always remember your family and, think of them as well and what they can even do to help. But, I think the key thing is that passion, that pursuit for, a better living, a better life, and better for your family. Those are key things.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And I think, and I want to credit to your father, it sounds like he didn't make you feel like because it was his passion, because he cared about it so much, it had to be yours.
Yeah.
And so I think that's an incredible blessing for you to have the freedom.
Yes.
Because you did pursue it then, because you actually did care.
Yes.
With no restraints, because that's very important. It would have been a completely different story.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
If he leaned his head in and said, you could do something else, but I really would like it if you took,
exactly.
Completely different situation. The fact that you had complete will to do whatever you want.
Absolutely.
And you chose to still do it shows how much you did care about it.
Yeah, my parents, they're both amazing, and it's, what my dad and my uncle, my aunt, my mom have done for all of us, young generation is incredible, I'll always love them and appreciate everything they do for us,
Yeah, I'm curious. I have a question in regards to your parents.
Yeah.
So parents that are business owners or maybe have a job where they're really, really busy.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a lot of different opinions on how parenting should go. Should you take time off to go really parent them a ton, or do you trust in watching you or watching them do their thing and really work hard and teach through their actions? What are your thoughts on that? Because I'm sure they were working a lot of hours at that point in time.
They were.
And
back in the 80s, it was, I would say, a different time frame in life, from now. My mom knew, being Italian immigrants, my mom was the stay-at-home mother, took care of us, made sure, dinner was ready, where my father and my uncle at that time, they were, 12 to 16-hour days.
Exactly. Yeah, that's kind of what I was hoping to get at was, do you think there's a ton of value in them leading by example in what they did in business?
Yes.
Even though they weren't necessarily with you all the time?
That's something I feel like I've learned, and my wife's been great about that. She's helping me, learn that too. Cause there's some days like I'll go in at 6:30 and want to stay till 8 at night.
Yeah.
But she's like, hey, always remember you have a family. And that's something I'm really trying to make the best of both worlds with hiring good people to help me out and, make sure I can have that happy balance. Go see my son play soccer, and I want that for myself. And I think that's the right thing as a father and a businessman, and I never take away from my dad, because at that point when they were building that business and, the economy was just kind of coming out of a recession, and it was hard, but I never say, hey, why didn't you do this with me? I never hold him for that, because I knew his love was there and he was trying to make a better life for us,
Yeah. And that example that he led put you in a position to be able to provide for your family.
Exactly.
What better service to your son or your family could you really,
Exactly.
really ask for? And it sounds like it was during a tough time where there wasn't really any other alternatives. So that's amazing. That's an amazing story.
I remember I always hear the story of, how they started this business. My uncle and my father were in the construction business, being Italians. And I want to say it was back in 1979, 1980, interest rates went up to 16, 17%. And my dad being
we're whining about 7 right now.
I know. And my dad being in construction, he goes, I'm going to drive around all day. I want to see if I see one cement truck on the road. Because cement trucks, when you see cement trucks, hey, somebody's getting a driveway, somebody's getting a parking lot.
Yep.
And he goes, Vince, I drove around all day. I didn't see one truck on the road. And he just knew, he goes, this could be bad for a while, and coming from Italy and not having no money, living with his parents, him and my uncle and my aunt and my mother really started thinking. And my Aunt Mima's uncle owned Manzella's Fruit Market. It used to be in St. Clair Shores, beautiful business, and
wonderful.
They helped my father and my uncle. They were like, hey, you should do something like this. People got to eat, it's a great, great adventure you could start, and they took that sacrifice